Bernie was not a sympathy guy. He did his job. He didn't ask for rest or.
When I think about your career, I feel like dance came first.
Yep.
Is that how it went?
Yeah.
Because I remember watching an old Def Comedy Jam set, and you had put dancing into the routine. So it let me know, okay, this guy like was doing this maybe before this part of the game. How did you even get into the comedy or even the Def Comedy Jam scene?
Def Comedy Jam, I got involved through Bob Sumner. Bob Sumner was the talent scout, and this dude, I don't know how he did it, but he flew to every hot spot in the U.S. where there was black comedians doing their thing, every city. He came to Charlotte, he auditioned us down there, he auditioned people in Tampa, Chicago, New York, the Bay. He went everywhere, single-handedly, and discovered all these different stars. Like he and I actually working on a project together that I can't divulge right now, but one man to be able to go and have an eye for talent and not just, yeah, I'm gonna go audition some comedians and then they all get on. That wasn't the case. Yeah. He had to see something in you, and it just made the difference. That's why you have Bill Bellamy, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Dave Chappelle, myself, Royale Watkins, and Ian Edwards, and you know what I mean? Cool Bubba Ice. You can name people that came from Mike Epps. It's just a lot of us.
And that was kind of like, from conversations I've had, like Bob was the one making sure that was all being instrumented.
Fact.
You think he doesn't probably get enough credit?
I would say so. I would say he doesn't get enough mentions or recognition publicly with people, because logically, the face of Def Comedy Jam was Russell. So, Stan Lathan, the director, and rightfully so. Like them brothers, without them, we wouldn't have a show. Without any of them, I wouldn't be sitting here on this couch. But Bob was the guy that took me he bridged the gap from Fayetteville to New York.
So what was that? Do you remember like the first time you found out you got Def Comedy Jam?
Oh yeah. Look, I was a dancer that turned comedian, and so Def Comedy Jam had everything for me. It had the dancers at the end, which I was the first comedian that actually came out after my set, and I danced with the dancers at the end of the show. Bob told me, he pulled me aside. He said, after you tape and you rip this joint, he said, I want you to come out and dance with the dancers so you can show your versatility. So he always was encouraging me to just be versatile, right?
Wow.
So I auditioned for Bob like 3 times. First time he saw me, he was like, you dope, but you're not ready yet. Come back next year. And I took that as a positive. I was like, all right, he saw something. Mm-hmm. So the next year, me and my boys, we flew to Tampa. We said, let's get out of our hometown comfort zone and let's go audition in a foreign city and see what kind of love we got, and see if our funny translates beyond our city.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we took that gamble. We spent our money. We got on that plane and we went to Tampa. And I happened to have the best set of that night. It was about 30 comics, but I went in the right place. I was like number 7.
Wow. And
I was able to it was me.
You remember what you did, like material-wise?
At the time, I was primarily doing impressions. I'm sure I did Bernie Mac. I'm sure I did Fire Marshal Bill. I'm sure I talked about dancing and dance moves and 70s, the good times painting, which ended up on the show. How the party be so lit that, everybody be dancing, look like the party from Good Times, and everybody having a good time, you know what I mean?
Right. You say you were doing impressions in Def Jam. You did a Bernie Mac impression?
Yeah.
And you end up working with Bernie?
Yeah.
Was that the first time with the movie that you guys did together? Was that the first time you worked with Bernie?
Officially. I had opened up for him on the road a couple times, and I met him in passing, and he always had a great word for young comedians. He was never like an asshole. Bernie was always like just congratulatory and wanting to give advice. And same thing when we did Soul Man. He was like, man, you remind me of myself. I see you got a little bit of Mac in you. Keep doing what you're doing. And
what do you think he meant by that?
I feel like he just was telling me that I got the natural funny bone, that natural comedic math, that's confident, that just doesn't hold back. I commit to the joke. I commit to the characters. Because I mean, if you watch Soul Man, I was completely somebody else. You know what I mean? My character he wasn't Affion. He was completely a whole nother dude. And I did everything from get hit by a car to, you know, cuss him and Sam Jackson out in their face. Like, it was a commitment.
That movie ended up kind of being, I want to say, darn near Mac's last film. I think there's one more film that came out too. Your reaction to when you found out he did pass away?
I mean, you know, you don't know how to take something like that. You know what I'm saying? You just reflect on the time that you had with him and just celebrate his life. I mean, but we knew he was sick. We knew he was sick on set, but you never really are prepared for stuff like that.
Oh, wow. So that's like, you guys were like taking breaks and stuff to kind of maybe let him?
To a degree, but I mean, Bernie was not a sympathy guy. He did his job. He didn't ask for rest, or he didn't ask for, he was like, all right, what we gotta do? Yeah. But still having an oxygen tank with him, you know what I'm saying? Like,
wow.
Yeah, he wasn't a soft dude.